Taylor Swift was in the middle of performing Lover during her Eras Tour stadium show in front of 70,000 people when she stopped singing mid-verse, put down her guitar, and said something into the microphone that made the entire stadium go completely silent. Because what she was about to do in the next 15 minutes would become the most iconic moment in concert history, not because of any performance or technical achievement, but because 70,000 people were about to witness the most profound act of compassion and sacrifice any celebrity had ever made in public. Watching as an 8-year-old girl dying of brain cancer helped Taylor Swift shave off all of her iconic blonde hair on stage, proving that sometimes the most powerful thing a superstar can do is make one child feel less alone, even if it costs everything. It was July 2024, and Taylor was performing at SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles. The Eras Tour was in full swing, breaking records, selling out stadiums around the world. The production was massive, elaborate sets, costume changes, a set list spanning her entire career. Everything was choreographed to the second, every moment planned and rehearsed. But what was about to happen wasn't in the script. Earlier that day, backstage, Taylor had met a little girl named Lily Thompson. She was 8 years old, and she was dying. She had an inoperable brain tumor, and her doctors had given her a few weeks, maybe a month, to live. The Make-A-Wish Foundation had arranged for her to meet Taylor Swift before the concert, to take a photo, to tell Taylor she loved her, to have one perfect moment before the inevitable. But when Taylor met Lily, something broke inside her. Lily was tiny, frail, wearing a pink dress and a wig, a blonde wig that was supposed to look like Taylor's hair. She'd lost all her own hair from the radiation and chemotherapy that hadn't worked, that had only bought her a little time, that had made her feel ugly and different and alone. "Hi, Lily," Taylor said, kneeling down to the little girl's level. "I'm so happy to meet you." Lily smiled, but it was a sad smile. "I used to have blonde hair like you," she said quietly, "but it all fell out. Now I have to wear this." She touched the wig self-consciously. "You're beautiful," Taylor said. "No, I'm not," Lily said, and her eyes filled with tears. "I'm ugly now. I look like an alien. That's what one of the kids at school said before I had to stop going." Taylor felt like someone had reached into her chest and grabbed her heart. "Lily, you are not ugly. You are fighting so hard, and that makes you the most beautiful person I know." "But I don't have hair," Lily whispered, "and all the other girls do. I don't look like anyone anymore. I look weird." "Would it help if you weren't the only one?" "What do you mean?" "What if I looked like you?" Taylor said. Lily didn't understand. "But you have beautiful hair. You're Taylor Swift." "Hair grows back," Taylor said. "But you shouldn't have to feel alone, not even for a second." Lily's mother, Jennifer, who was standing nearby trying not to cry, said, "Taylor, you don't have to." "I know I don't have to," Taylor said. "I want to." That was 5 hours before the concert started, and during those 5 hours, Taylor made a plan. Now, mid-concert, in front of 70,000 people, Taylor stopped performing. She put down her guitar and walked to the center of the stage. The crowd, which had been singing along loudly, went quiet, sensing something different was happening. "I need to tell you all something," Taylor said into the microphone. "There's someone very special here tonight." The crowd cheered, assuming she was about to bring out a surprise guest artist, which sometimes happened during the tour. "Her name is Lily," Taylor continued. "She's 8 years old, and she's backstage right now with her mom. Lily has brain cancer, and her doctors have told her that she has a few weeks left to live." The stadium went completely silent. 70,000 people not making a sound. Lily's final wish, the thing she wanted most in the world before she dies, was to meet me, Taylor said, and her voice was already shaking with emotion. "So she's here tonight, and I'm going to bring her out here so you can all meet her too. Is that okay?" The stadium erupted in applause, people crying already, knowing they were about to witness something important. Taylor walked to the side of the stage, and a moment later, she returned holding the hand of a tiny girl in a pink dress. Lily was wearing her blonde wig, holding Taylor's hand tightly, overwhelmed by the massive stadium, the lights, the thousands and thousands of people. Taylor helped her to the center of the stage. "Everyone, this is Lily." The stadium gave Lily a standing ovation, and the little girl looked around in wonder, unable to comprehend that all these people were clapping for her. "Lily told me something earlier today," Taylor said, kneeling down next to the little girl. "She told me that she lost all her hair from her cancer treatment, and she told me that it makes her feel ugly. She said she doesn't look like other girls anymore." Taylor stood up, still holding Lily's hand, and addressed the 70,000 people. "Lily should never ever feel ugly, and she should never feel alone. So I'm going to do something right now, and I need you all to understand why I'm doing it." She walked over to her piano, reached underneath, and pulled out a pair of professional hair clippers. The stadium gasped, a collective intake of breath from 70,000 people who suddenly understood what was about to happen. "I'm going to shave my head," Taylor said clearly into the microphone. "Right here, right now, in front of all of you. Because Lily shouldn't feel like she's the only one. Because I want her to know that beauty isn't about hair. It's about courage. And Lily has more courage than anyone I've ever met." The stadium erupted in screams, not of excitement, but of shock and emotion. People were crying, hands over their mouths, unable to believe what they were witnessing. Taylor sat down on the stage floor, cross-legged, right in the center under the spotlight. The big screens that usually showed close-ups of her performing now showed close-ups of her face, her blonde hair, about to be gone. She looked at Lily. "Will you help me?" Lily's eyes went wide. "Help you?" "I can't do it alone," Taylor said, holding out the clippers. "We'll do it together. Will you?" Lily looked at her mother, who was crying in the wings. Jennifer nodded, tears streaming down her face. Lily took the clippers in her small hands. Taylor turned them on, and the buzzing sound echoed through the stadium's sound system. 70,000 people heard it. 70,000 people watched on the massive screens as Taylor Swift guided an 8-year-old girl's hands to her head and helped her shave off the first section of blonde hair. The stadium was completely silent except for the buzzing of the clippers and the sound of thousands of people crying. It took 15 minutes. Taylor sat patiently as Lily, with Taylor guiding her hands, shaved section after section of hair. Sometimes Lily would pause, uncertain, and Taylor would smile at her and say, "You're doing great. Keep going." Sometimes Lily would cry, and Taylor would cry too, but they kept going. The hair fell in blonde clumps around Taylor on the stage floor. The big screens showed everything. Every section shaved, every moment of vulnerability, every tear. When they were almost done, Taylor said into the microphone that she'd kept near her, "You're all witnessing something that's not about me. It's about Lily. It's about making sure she knows she's not alone, that she's not ugly, that she's beautiful exactly as she is." Finally, after 15 minutes, it was done. Taylor Swift's iconic blonde hair was completely gone. She was bald, completely bald, and sitting next to her, also bald, was 8-year-old Lily, who had stopped wearing her wig and was staring at Taylor in wonder. "Now we're twins," Taylor said, pulling Lily into a hug. "We match," Lily whispered. "We match," Taylor confirmed, "and you're beautiful. Do you believe me now?" Lily touched Taylor's bald head, then her own bald head. "We're both bald, and we're both beautiful," Taylor said. 70,000 people on their feet, screaming, crying, applauding. It wasn't applause for a performance. It was applause for witnessing something that transcended entertainment, something that was about pure human compassion and sacrifice. Taylor stood up, still holding Lily's hand, both of them completely bald under the stage lights. She looked out at the crowd. "I'm going to finish this concert," she announced. "And I'm going to finish it like this, because Lily is here, and she deserves to see a show. And because I want everyone here to remember that what matters isn't how we look, it's how we love." She walked Lily back to her mother in the wings, hugged them both, and then returned to the stage. And for the next hour and a half, Taylor Swift performed the rest of her concert completely bald. Every song, every dance move, every moment, with no hair, looking completely different from the image on every poster and album cover. And the stadium never stopped crying. The video of those 15 minutes, Taylor sitting on stage, Lily helping shave her head, both of them bald and hugging, was recorded by thousands of phones. By the next morning, it had been viewed 500 million times worldwide. "Taylor Swift shaves head on stage for dying girl" was the headline everywhere. But the story didn't end there. 3 weeks later, Lily Thompson passed away. She died at home, surrounded by her family, and her mother, Jennifer, posted a message on social media that made the world cry all over again. "Lily died yesterday, but she didn't die feeling ugly. She didn't die feeling alone. She died knowing that Taylor Swift looked like her, that Taylor Swift thought she was beautiful, that 70,000 people cheered for her, that 500 million people around the world saw her and saw beauty, not sickness. She died beautiful, and that was Taylor's gift to her. Thank you, Taylor, for making my daughter's last weeks the happiest of her life. Thank you for showing her she was never ugly. Thank you for making her feel seen." Taylor attended Lily's funeral. She was still bald, and she remained bald for 3 months after Lily's death, only allowing her hair to start growing back when she felt that she'd properly honored Lily's memory. The concert footage became the most iconic moment in modern music history, not because of any technical achievement or performance skill, but because 70,000 people had witnessed an act of pure compassion. They'd watched a superstar sacrifice her image, her carefully crafted appearance, her iconic look, everything that made her recognizable, to make one dying child feel less alone. Music critics wrote articles about it. Cultural commentators analyzed it. But the most powerful responses came from cancer patients and their families. "My daughter has been in treatment for 2 years, one mother wrote. She's 11 and she's lost all her hair, and she's been so depressed. But after seeing Taylor Swift shave her head for Lily, my daughter said, 'Maybe I'm not ugly. Maybe I'm just brave.' Thank you, Taylor. You saved my daughter's life in a different way." Hundreds of similar messages poured in. Children in cancer treatment who had felt isolated and different and ugly suddenly saw themselves differently. Because if Taylor Swift could be bald and beautiful, then so could they. If this story of sacrificing image for compassion, of making one child feel seen in front of 70,000 people, of proving that beauty is about courage, not appearance, moved you, make sure to subscribe and hit that like button. Share this with anyone fighting battles that make them feel ugly, with anyone who's ever felt alone in their pain, or with someone who needs to remember that the most powerful thing we can do is make others feel less alone. Have you ever sacrificed something important to make someone else feel valued? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to ring that notification bell for more incredible stories about the moments when humanity matters more than image.